Speaking of Oakland, the new head coach of the Oakland Raiders, Jack Del Rio, has come out and said his second-year linebacker, Khalil Mack, is going to be just as good as Von Miller, and he's already more physical than Von Miller. Let's remember Del Rio coached Von Miller the last few years here. Is that fair? Khalil Mack had 4 sacks last year in his rookie year. Von Miller, his rookie year, had 11.5, and Von Miller, for his career now, has 49. Is it fair of Del Rio to compare a guy going into his second year to a guy who's been a Pro Bowler, what, 2 or 3 of his first 4 years here?
This segment is brought to you by Shanahan Steakhouse, who's the only guy who's coached both the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. But Jack Del Rio becomes the first head coach of the Oakland Raiders who was a defensive coordinator with the Denver Broncos. Shanahan Steakhouse is named by most anybody that's ever gone there the best steakhouse in Denver. There are people who own other steakhouses that go there. I was there recently, and there was a person who is a general manager of another steakhouse there. That shows you, where do people go who like steakhouses? They go to Shanahan Steakhouse, and you can make a reservation at shanahansteakhouse.com and join us and join a lot of Denver's beautiful people. I don't know where the ugly people go to eat.
All right, let me reset, all right? Jack Del Rio is the new head coach of the
I got it. We just,
well, no, I need to reset
since
it.
I didn't do a Woody's World, I need to
reset it, though. Jack Del Rio is the new head coach of the Oakland Raiders. He says that Khalil Mack, his second-year linebacker, is as talented as Von Miller and even more physical than Von Miller. Mack had 4 sacks last year, his rookie year, by the way.
Well, why do you think he's saying?
I think he's doing it to pump up his second-year linebacker and to instill some confidence in a team that he just took over. Look, Oakland doesn't have a ton of talent. They're not going to be one of the better teams in the league this year. Once again, they will probably fall far short of the playoffs. But Jack Del Rio is bringing a fresh attitude and trying to change the culture in Oakland and trying to pump up his kids. And I think that's what he's doing here. Now, is Khalil Mack as talented as Von Miller? Only time will tell. I hate to use that phrase, but only time will tell. I mean, Von Miller's going into his 5th year. He's got 49 sacks on his resume. Don't compare Khalil Mack to Von Miller until Khalil Mack has a little time.
Well, you're the coach there, but I would say this. Where we stand today, I think that Mack is a tougher player than Von Miller.
Okay.
I think that Von Miller is a much more talented player than Mack. Are those synonymous?
That makes sense.
Von Miller is a great rusher of the quarterback. He has quick moves, that first step, the way now he's been around for a while. He's got moves. He's got an inside move. It's tough for a left tackle to ever beat him outside. It's just a matter of how his path is going to go, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether he can come in and get there soon enough. Mack, I think, is a tougher. I'm not saying Von, I don't think, is a tough. He's not J.J. Watt. He is not a ferocious kind of player. He's not Howie Long.
No, he goes around guys instead of through them for the most part.
But
and he's not great against the run either.
He's not great against the pass.
True.
He's a pass
rusher.
He's not great against the run. He's not great against the pass. He's great against the passer.
Yeah.
So that's what Von Miller is. He is a great pass rushing specialist. Mack is more of a run stopper, a tougher guy. I think that maybe Jack Del Rio was right in the way that he put it, but Mack is not as talented or as valuable to his team as Von Miller is.
I think it's a little too early. Maybe Jack Del Rio is projecting, but you can't say right now that Khalil Mack is as talented as Von Miller. Von Miller's got a pretty darn good resume right now.
I don't think he'll ever be as talented, but he can be valuable to his team. He can be their most valuable player on the defense.
And here's the other thing. Khalil Mack, as long as Jack Del Rio is the head coach in Oakland, Khalil Mack will never have huge sack numbers. And why do we know this? Because Jack Del Rio doesn't blitz a whole lot. Jack Del Rio plays a very vanilla style of defense. He will impose his defense on that team. Khalil Mack's not going to be rushing the passer as frequently as Von Miller has been allowed to rush the passer here in the past.
How do you think Jack Del Rio's going to do as a coach in his second time around?
Well, he's in a tough situation. I mean, that is a bad organization.
Well,
There's no
what would be
way around that.
successful in the first couple of years?
Well,
For
if he can get Oakland up to 8-8 in the next couple of years,
yeah,
I think that's successful for Jack Del Rio.
so they won what, 3-4 games last year, 2 or 3 the year before that,
right.
something of that order. So if he does get them to a 500 team, that's a real accomplishment for a team that the franchise that has fallen off the map. I mean, they've become a joke.
Yeah.
They were a joke before Al Davis died. They're total joke under Mark Davis, Al Davis's son, who didn't have any involvement in football.
It's been 13 years since they were even a 500 team, let alone made the playoffs.
Yeah. So if he can get them to or just above 500 and at least be competitive and win some games at home, but I think it's also true, and I'm not saying this because of Oakland. I haven't minded going to Oakland in 40 years. I mean, I've not minded going there because I stay in San Francisco,
sure.
And that's why I know what the tolls are. And I go to San Jose, and you don't spend any time in Oakland. You just go to the stadium, watch the game. It's a terrible stadium. It's not set up for football. It's like the last stadium that's got dirt,
yeah,
because of the baseball team being
and it's
there.
tarped in the upper deck.
And the fans are interesting down in the
That's a good way to put it. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I talked to them out in the parking lot, and they're like motorcycle gangs that are in Denver. My friends are in.
Okay.
They're dentists and doctors and stuff like that. That's what the black hole group is. They're normal people during the
just
week, and
play a
they
role
dress
during
up.
those 3 hours
They
of the
dress
game.
up as
Yeah.
Mad Max characters. I think Jack Del Rio will be a good settling factor there. Dennis Allen
much like John Fox in Chicago.
Yeah, Dennis Allen was ready to be
both those
a
guys
head
can
coach,
only take you so far.
So what they did, they've gone away from that. Oh, we're going to recreate Al Davis, who was a young coach. Yeah, but they've gone through it so much. Mike Shanahan and Dennis Allen, and you go through all the. Oh, we're going to take a young guy and Al was going to mold him, and then Mark, who's totally clueless. He
Mark
has no
Davis,
history. Yeah.
yeah.
So Mack, he's a Mack truck, but he's not.
He's a good player. I can remember before the draft last year, 2 years ago, a lot of NFL people saying that he was the best player in the draft, that he very well could have been the first pick in the draft, and he was certainly the best defensive player in the draft. So I'm not saying he's not a good player. I just don't know that he'll ever have numbers, particularly sack numbers, like Von Miller, because I don't know that he's as talented, and I don't think they're going to send him after the quarterback the way the Broncos have in past years.
That segment was brought to you by Shanahan's, and we didn't have Woody's World today because the sewers backed up and the toilets didn't work.